I was still healing from my C-section when my sister-in-law tossed my pillow and said, "You've been resting too long, time to earn your place." My husband handed me a to-do list. She's right. I could barely stand, but I did everything. And then I called someone who'd been waiting to hear from me. I had a C-section 6 weeks ago. I live in Tacoma, Washington. Our daughter came early, unexpectedly. I'd planned a natural birth, but my blood pressure spiked dangerously, and they rushed me into emergency surgery. I barely remember most of it. I just remember being terrified. There was so much blood. I remember them stitching me up while I shivered under the lights, and the nurse whispering in my ear, "You're okay. Just breathe." Recovery wasn't smooth. I ended up with an infection in the incision site 2 weeks in. I was on antibiotics and bed rest. I could barely move without pain shooting through my stomach. The baby was healthy, but I was struggling. I cried a lot. My OB said I needed at least 8 weeks to properly heal, longer if the bleeding didn't stop. My husband, Joel, wasn't gentle about any of this. He told me early on that he wasn't good with medical stuff and that he was overwhelmed. I tried to be understanding. I didn't want to push him. But it was clear within the first week that he saw this as more of a burden than a blessing. He invited his sister, Marla, to come stay to help. Help. That's what he called it. Marla blew into our house, like she owned the place. She started barking out suggestions the minute she walked in. "Why do you have bottles everywhere? She needs to learn to latch. This is too much formula. You can't just lay around all day. It'll slow your healing." I bit my tongue so many times. I was hormonal, exhausted, and in pain. But Joel told me to not be so sensitive. Marla wasn't there to help. She did laundry, but only Joel's. She'd cook sometimes, but only stuff she liked, and then she'd say, "You should eat less dairy. It makes the baby fussy." She treated me like I was lazy, like I was milking the recovery. Then came the breaking point. I was on the couch one afternoon. I hadn't slept more than 2 hours straight in days. The baby had just finished feeding. I leaned back against my pillow, carefully, because if I moved wrong, it felt like my stomach would tear open again. Marla came into the room, looked down at me, and literally pulled the pillow out from behind my back. I winced and cried out. "You've been resting too long," she said. "Time to earn your place." She said it with this cold finality, like I was some ungrateful houseguest. Not the woman who just carried a child for 9 months and almost died bringing her into the world. Then Joel walked in. He didn't ask if I was okay. He didn't flinch. He handed me a damn piece of paper. A to-do list. Dishes, laundry, clean the kitchen counters, sterilize the bottles. You need to get up and move around more.
"She's right," he said.
Just like that.
No wodems.
No concern. Like I was some roommate behind on chores. I was too shocked to even cry. I got up. I did the damn list. I shuffled around like a ghost, holding the baby against my chest while I swept the floor. I had to stop and sit down 3 times just to catch my breath. Blood was leaking through my underwear. My incision burned. Still, I did it. That night I sat in the bathroom, door locked, and I texted the only person I trusted. My sister. We hadn't talked in months. Joel didn't like her. He always said she got in our business too much. So I'd pulled away. I'd done it to keep the peace. But I typed everything out and hit send. She called me immediately. "Say the word," she said. "I've been waiting for this." I didn't say the word right away. I wasn't ready. My sister, Callie, asked if I was safe. I lied. I told her yes. I didn't want to explain that safety had started to feel like a luxury I couldn't afford. I wasn't afraid Joel would hit me, but I was afraid I'd disappear entirely in that house, that I'd just become this silent, broken thing that cleaned and fed and took care of a baby while everyone else criticized how I did it. I waited 2 more days. Marla started checking my work. I folded a load of laundry, and she dumped it back out, saying, "You can't even fold, right?" She told Joel she was worried about my energy level. That maybe I was getting depressed. That I wasn't bonding with the baby the way I should. Joel started acting colder. like I was a failed project he didn't know what to do with. I overheard them talking late one night. I was nursing the baby upstairs and forgot to close the hallway door. Marla said, "You sure you want to be stuck with someone this week?" And Joel didn't say no. He didn't correct her. He just said, "She wasn't like this before the baby." That was it.
I felt something inside me snap.
Not loudly, but sharp and final. The next morning, I called Callie again. I didn't even say hello. I just said, "I'm ready." She was at my door 2 hours later. When she walked in, Marla made a face and said, "Oh, you again." Callie didn't even look at her. She walked straight to me, looked me over head to toe, and then turned to Joel. "You packed a bag?" she asked me. I nodded. I'd packed one the night before. Just a duffel. Baby clothes, diapers, a folder with all the hospital paperwork, my ID, and the baby's birth certificate. My meds. Joel tried to block the door. "Where do you think you're going?" "To my sister's," I said. My voice was low but steady. "You can have your sister. I'm done being treated like a problem in my own home." Marla scoffed. "You're overreacting. You've been hormonal and dramatic for weeks." Callie stepped forward. "You touch her again, pull another pillow, say another word, I'll have a restraining order by tomorrow morning." Joel looked stunned. Not angry. Just stunned. Like he never imagined I'd grow a spine. I left. We drove away. Baby in the back seat, me bleeding through my pad again, but for the first time in weeks, I was breathing like I meant it. But I wasn't finished. While I stayed at Callie's, I started going through our shared bank account. Joel had moved a few things around, transferred a savings account into his name only. I wasn't surprised, but I took screenshots. I emailed everything to myself. I made copies of all the documents I'd taken. Then I filed for temporary custody. Joel tried to act shocked, said I was being extreme. He even tried to say I wasn't well enough to care for the baby full-time. But I had the hospital reports, the OB notes, the photos of my bloody waistband, the texts, everything. I wasn't just leaving. I was building a case. And Marla? I had something for her too. I found out she'd been staying with Joel rent-free, which violated the lease agreement with our landlord. So I called the property manager. Anonymously. Sent them proof. The eviction notice showed up 2 weeks later. But that wasn't the real revenge. That part's still coming. Joel didn't take the custody filing well. At first, he tried fake cooperative. He texted things like, "We should work this out like adults, and let's not make this messy." But when I didn't back down, he flipped. I got served with paperwork of his own, a countersuit for full custody, claiming I was emotionally unstable and physically unfit due to postpartum issues. He attached a letter from Marla, typed and signed, stating she witnessed signs of neglect and emotional detachment. I read it 3 times, shaking. She said I let the baby cry too long, that I slept through feedings, that I was violent toward her. Lies, every line of it. But in black and white, with a signature. It felt dangerous. Callie got me a lawyer. Not cheap, but worth it. I gave him everything. Photos of my incision, the OB's post-op instructions, the to-do list, the texts. He read them and said, "They overplayed their hand. Let them keep talking." He was right. The court ordered a temporary hearing with both sides. Joel showed up looking smug. Marla wore a blazer, like she was testifying in front of Congress.
I didn't look at either of them.
Just held my daughter and let the lawyer talk. When it was my turn, I spoke plainly. I told the judge I'd been recovering from major surgery, that I was given zero support, that my husband's family treated me like a lazy servant, and that I feared for my physical recovery under their care. Then we dropped the photo of the bloody waistband. My lawyer laid it right on the judge's bench. The judge's face hardened. Joel tried to object, said it was out of context. The judge asked, "Is that your handwriting on the to-do list?" Joel looked like he'd swallowed glass. We won the temporary order. I got primary custody and he got supervised visits until the next review. But that wasn't the twist. The twist came 2 weeks later. I was at Callie's when she knocked on my bedroom door, holding her phone. "You need to see this," she said. It was a private message from someone I didn't know, Rachel, Joel's ex. She said she saw a post on Facebook about my custody hearing. A mutual friend had shared a photo of me and my daughter outside the courthouse, tagged Mom Warrior. Rachel's message said, "I don't know you, but I saw your name and realized we were both engaged to the same man at different times. He ghosted me when I was 7 weeks pregnant." My heart dropped. She went on. "He said he wanted nothing to do with the baby. I had to go through everything alone. He changed his number and moved. I only found out where he lived now from that court tag." She sent a photo. A little boy, 2 years old. His eyes were exactly like Joel's. She wasn't lying. Joel had another child he never told me about, never supported. And now, while fighting me for custody, he was pretending he wanted to be father of the year. I called my lawyer. He called the judge. And just like that, Joel's entire case cracked open. Joel didn't know I knew about the boy. I let him dig himself deeper. He showed up to his next supervised visit with fake cheerfulness, bringing a stuffed animal and some store-brand formula, trying to play the doting dad. He even had the nerve to say, "I've always wanted a family like this." Meanwhile, my lawyer had already filed a motion to reopen discovery. We included the sworn statement from Rachel, the child's birth certificate, and proof Joel had used a fake address to avoid child support. The judge ordered an investigation. Joel denied it at first, said the kid wasn't his. Then we requested a paternity test. He tried to stall, claimed he was too stressed to comply right away. The judge wasn't having it. He tested positive. 99.99% match. When that hit the docket, everything shifted. Suddenly, the narrative wasn't about a struggling father trying to protect his child from a depressed mother. It was about a man who had abandoned one child, lied to the court, and was now trying to weaponize custody to regain control over a woman who dared to walk away. The judge didn't just grant me full custody. She barred Joel from unsupervised visitation for a year minimum and ordered mandatory counseling and parenting classes. She added that his pattern of abandonment and manipulation was deeply concerning. He tried to argue, but his lawyer had already gone quiet. You could tell even she was done with him. Then came the real revenge. I filed a formal complaint with the state's Child Support Enforcement Office on behalf of Rachel and her son. With her permission, my lawyer helped her initiate a claim. Joel was slapped with 2 cases now, mine and hers. Back pay, penalties, and wage garnishments. He called me. I didn't answer. Then he texted, "You've ruined my life." I stared at it for a long time. Then I wrote back, "You did that yourself." I just gave the truth a push. Marla moved out a month after the eviction notice came. From what I heard, she tried to crash with another brother in Spokane, but that didn't last. Nobody wants to live with someone who thrives on controlling others. As for me, my scar's still tender. Some nights, I still get those deep, aching pulls in my abdomen. But I'm healing. Slowly, honestly. Callie helped me set up a room just for me and the baby. Quiet, warm hours. I got a part-time remote job. Rachel and I talk now. We've even met up for coffee. Our kids don't know each other yet, but one day they will. They'll grow up knowing they weren't mistakes, that they were fought for. And Joel? He lost the narrative, lost the power. And slowly, word by word, I made sure the truth caught up to him. This wasn't just revenge. It was justice. For me. For my daughter. And for the life I almost gave up, just to please a man who never saw me as more than his help. Never again.